Hi, I'm Dan Costa, editor-in-chief of Worth.com, and I'm here reporting live from South by Southwest. I am with Cam Lawrence, the CEO of NewLab. Cam, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thanks so much for the opportunity to chat, Dan. It's a pleasure.
So we got a lot to cover. We're going to talk about NewLab, we're going to talk about climate, we're going to talk about investing, but maybe we just start off by just explaining a little bit about what NewLab is.
Yeah, absolutely. So NewLab's a venture platform. A lot of people don't really know what that means, but what our purpose is to help early stage founders in the deep tech and climate tech space, everything from ideation to commercialization. So we have two amazing facilities in Detroit and Brooklyn where we bring together hundreds of startups focused on climate-related challenges in the energy, materials, and mobility themes in particular. We care about those because that's where most of the greenhouse gases in this country come from. So from there, we give them the community. We actually have amazing tooling in place, so everything you can imagine, like the 3D printers, the woodworking shops, the metal shops to build the prototypes. And that's important because most of the capital and early stage founders in those spaces goes towards prototype development, building the labs to enable you just to get your idea off the ground. So we take all of that risk ourselves. We help you prototype. We have amazing experts to help you bring your vision to reality. And then from there, we have a consulting arm that acts as a conduit between large industry partners and that are looking to solve climate-related challenges. And from there, we bring together the startups that are focused on solving those challenges, and we run pilots to demonstrate commercialization. And then from there, we also provide access to capital. So when you think about it from a founder journey perspective, we're taking you from ideation, helping you develop your product, helping you commercialize your product, and have access to capital. And when we can do that well, that's really unlocks significant value for the startups that we support.
So when you mentioned deep tech, we should probably just dig into that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's not, a lot of people hear the term, but they don't know exactly what it means.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think in this country, people are most focused on software development. So if you've got a computer and an idea, you can make something pretty amazing happen in the software industry. Deep tech's different, right? You need to develop physical products that requires prototyping. It requires an opportunity to demonstrate it's going to work in the wild. It's a lot different making a physical e-bike or a physical all-terrain vehicle than it is just a SaaS platform that you would see in the technology community. So that's really where we focus, and our ability to bring product realization capabilities together with the founders to develop their prototyping is really an aspect of NewLab's secret sauce, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people, there's a different time horizon in terms of when that product's going to come to market, when you're going to get your money back out. Like software is fast and it's addictive and it's rapid, but like to build hardware is slow.
Absolutely.
And it takes a different skill set. So can you give some examples of like some of the investments you've made?
Yeah, we're very blessed to have an amazing group of founders that we support. So we'll see everything, and we also partner with local communities as well. Like the Department of Transportation in New York's a great partner with us. So we'll do everything from EV charging infrastructure. So we have a company called Volt Post, which basically is a wrapper around a light post to enable it to tie directly into the grid, because that infrastructure exists today. So you can think about charging your car directly into a lamp post because they don't need the light during daytime. So all that excess capacity, when the daylight is on, can be used for charging EVs. So those type of pilots we engineer all the time with both local governments as well as large commercial partners. E-bike companies, as you can imagine, there's a number of those in the NewLab ecosystem, not just the e-bikes themselves, but also the small run manufacturing capabilities. We're starting companies that can nearshore those manufacturing capabilities into this country again, right? So, which dramatically improves the value chain for that industry overall. So, lots of great examples of cool startups that are solving climate-related challenges in every aspect is really what we're trying to enable.
Very cool. So we're here at the Midwest House at South by Southwest. We want to thank the Midwest House for letting us shoot here. We're in their studio in front of a barn door. There's actually a panel going on the other side of that wall, which I can't believe we can't hear through the wall. But it's no accident that we're here. NewLab opened up in Detroit. Talk a little bit about the decision, out of all the places you could open up another location, to go from Brooklyn to Detroit.
No, absolutely, and I'm glad you asked. I mean, one of the things, we started in Brooklyn, and it became this amazing community of innovators, 70,000 square feet, a couple hundred members, called NewLab Brooklyn home. We often got this question: how do we bring NewLab to our community. And really, it was Bill Ford and Ford and through Michigan Central that had this vision of creating and continuing to create Detroit as a center of excellence for mobility going into the next generation. That's obviously where their history has been. So that was an amazing opportunity for us, and we opened up unbelievable space in April of last year. In less than a year, we've already got 90 startups that call it Detroit home with a real focus on mobility. So some of the cool things that we're doing there is we have one company called Electrion, which is actually amazingly created a self-charging road. So we have a stretch of road outside of NewLab in Detroit where you can drive your EV and it'll charge over that road. Now that's just a pilot.
How slow do you have to drive?
well, the thing that's interesting there is because what we can do is both from the distribution centers where there's large fleets that are just parked there. So that technology can be really helpful there, as well as corridors that have a high volume of traffic into city centers. That could be a technology that really matters down the road. So we're doing stuff like that. We've got tie-ins with the local infrastructure assets like the Port of Monroe, where we're testing all sorts of autonomous boats that are cataloging shipping routes through in and out of the ports, which is really interesting. We've got a transportation innovation zone. Part of what we've done there is partnered with the local government to enable fast permitting for EV-related technologies, so that if you're trying to go to market, you can get quick permitting to be able to test your technologies in the wild in a very efficient way. Which again, that's been a big hang-up for a blocker for growth for startups, is getting access to opportunity to pilot your technology. So that's something that we unlock as well. So it's been a real interesting opportunity for us to help startups at scale in Detroit and creating this really vibrant ecosystem that's been kind of a source of pride for the local community as they rebuild in Detroit.
So what? Obviously, you've got a lot of different investments, a lot of different solutions, incubators out there. What is most exciting to you? What do you think is going to make the biggest impact over time on the scale that we really need it?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, so we're focused more broadly on energy, materials, and mobility, and we care about that because that's where greenhouse gases are being emitted in this country at the highest volumes. The one that I'm personally really interested in around is carbon sequestration, and when you sequester the carbon, what are you going to do with it? So there's a lot of companies in our ecosystem that are focused on that problem, and then using the captured carbon to turn into value-added products. So I think that's, everything that we do from reducing emissions is going to be great and incredibly important. But there's also, in order to get to neutral, we actually have to pull a lot of carbon out. So the companies that are focused on that aspect of the problem are just super interesting to me right now.
Very cool. Cam, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Dan.